how long has it been? What? 6 months? I said that I was going to pay attention in this series, and I didn't. Hi, welcome. We're going to be watching the rest of Prehistoric Emergence today. Yeah, I know, it was forever, right? But thank you to the single commenter that went back and saw one of my older videos, I imagine after watching Alien Stage, and then saw that I did Prehistoric Emergence, and wanted me to continue. And I was like, yeah, I really should continue that, because I really did enjoy it. So that's what we're going to be doing today. This is a bit of an off-the-cuff thing. I am recording this on the day of upload, so when you see this uploaded today in 4 hours at 12 p.m. CST, I will have also already watched it. And today I will have also been recording Ouija for Alien Stage. So that's also a big thing to look forward to, but that won't be until 3 o'clock when I record that. So yeah, let's get into this, shall we? First, to an event in which numerous animals once believed to be extinct for millions of years had suddenly appeared through unexplained events.
Breaking news. The third fishing boat of this week has been discovered capsized near the coast of Portugal, proving that our oceans have reached an unprecedented level of unpredictability and danger. Unfortunately, there were 4 casualties with no survivors found.
It's the Jurassic World.
It has now been confirmed that a Mosasaurus has been haunting this
Mosasaurus,
region.
yeah.
Attention residents
I love
of Australia.
Mosasaurus.
Several
Mosasaurus is very
homeowners
cool.
in Glen Waverley and Mossman have reported finding Macalania nests in their basement. Furthermore, one of the...
Do you think that people would be hired to go out and, like, murk some fucking prehistoric lizards, dude? Because, like, here in the Midwest and down south where I have been, people are hired for wild hogs and wild swine and the like, because wild hogs are invasive and they have no season, nor do you need a license to kill them because of how destructive to the environment they are. A lot of people will that don't really understand might like wince at that and be like, oh, that's a little, why, you know, they're just animals. But like, they do need to be culled. Their populations need to be culled because of the fact that they will tear up things like gardens, they will tear up farmland, they will tear up their own environment and put at risk other prey animals, right? And usually, whenever we look at biological niches like this in ecosystems, they are culled naturally through predators and predation. But because of human interaction and human habitation that's around them, those predators aren't around, such as maybe coyotes or wolves, or, you know, maybe things like bobcats or big cats or other things like that that serve as predators. And instead now humans are the ones that need to go out there and go hunting for them. Also, apparently their meat tastes like shit, but still plenty of people still eat them as a form of food source, so that's still a thing that people use them for. And like, you can turn their bodies in and like get, I don't know, some like a good money from them. So like, it's also a profession for a lot of people. So I'm wondering if this, like, if in this universe that's something that people can be hired to do, you know, go find a Utah raptor making nuisance, right? Oh, I should also probably mention that, I mean, I definitely do think that there is a level of brutality when it comes to hunting hogs that is a little, like, unnecessary. You know, like the people that are up there, like, with the fucking minigun, just, like, mowing them down, right? Like, I think that's a little fucked up. But at the same time, it's one of those things like, okay, that's kind of cool. like having a minigun up there and just goes like neuron activation. But yeah, like, I mean, I think myself, I would probably go hog hunting. Help the population, help the ecosystem out a little bit. But yeah, I'm wondering if that's something that is a possibility in this, especially with the advent that even smaller lizards and prehistoric creatures are now emerging once again, that maybe they are now invasive species because they're on average a little bit larger than the ones before. But another thing that I'm actually curious about is I'm curious about how maybe I'm looking too deep into this analog horror, but I'm curious of how modern diseases interact with these prehistoric creatures, and if any of them have issues with predation on the environments in which they are in, because of the fact that, maybe they can't, properly digest or are susceptible immune systems.
These homeowners spotted a baby macalania living in their home. If you encounter a nest or infant macalania, call authorities and your local division of GPAC will be dispatched to handle the situation.
A terrifying discovery has been made in Billings, Montana. Mass panic has spread across the entire
I knew I saw
as a
some shit there.
creature that we all hoped would stay extinct has reemerged. This creature is known as the Tyrannosaurus.
That's really cool. That was kind of fucking scary too. Like having to slowly pan out, dude. That was fucking crazy. That was really cool. Because one of the things that like I recently learned was that the vocalization done by T-Rex would have been ultrasonic in nature. So you probably, there's a chance for the most part you couldn't have heard it too well, but you would have felt it. And that's, one, awesome, but two, fucking terrifying, because imagine all of a sudden you just hear, like, you just feel when you're like, oh, and like there's a fucking 10-ton piece of meat behind you.
We bring you an important
Global Prehistoric
update from GPAC.
Affairs Commission.
Previously, the member nations of GPAC had a unified strategy of bombarding the formations in an effort to prevent the emergence of ancient creatures. However, GPAC has now officially ceased the bombardment campaign, as these formations are appearing faster than we can close them.
That's some sinkhole.
In response, GPAC nations have decided to pool their resources to adapt to the prehistoric emergence and focus on studying the origins of these formations.
Blue holes in relation to rising sea levels. Usually that would mean that if there's something underground, it would have moved to fill the volume beneath it. But that would indicate that there was actually water above. But that would also mean that something is pushing the water up and out to fill the rest. Almost as if it was pressurized.
New legislation has been enacted in all member nations prohibiting citizens from being within 1 mile of a formation. If your residence falls within this restricted zone, GPAC will offer assistance with relocation. Attention, Texas. A massive flying predator has been spotted terrorizing the region.
Quetzalcoatlus.
Authorities have identified the creature as Quetzalcoatlus northroping, one of the largest flying creatures ever known,
Hell yeah.
possibly the biggest pterosaur. While it has been confirmed in Texas, experts believe it will soon migrate to surrounding areas. The Quetzalcoatlus stands at 16 feet tall and weighs around 500 pounds.
One thing that I'm curious about is why this is a problem in the United States, where on average there's at least 3 guns per 5 people or some shit like that, right? I forget the exact statistic, But, like, you would imagine in Texas, of all places, there wouldn't be an issue with a giant fucking pterosaur, right? Like, you see that shit, somebody goes out there with their fucking kitted up AR-15 and just goes, "Get out my front lawn!" And look, I know that you could say, like, okay, maybe 5.56 isn't going to do a lot to a Quetzalcoatlus, but it's still meat. It's not a fucking Sherman tank, right? Like I'm sure, like, JHP rounds would be fine against a Quetzalcoatlus, right? Like, at least enough to injure it and potentially have it bleed out later somewhere else, right? It would definitely scare it off. Same thing with like T-Rex, right? I mean, I'd imagine like a good slug from a 12 gauge would probably do some fucking damage to like any living creature. Like, sure, due to size, you know, even no matter how much energy is going into there, right? But, like, still, you're taking chunks out of, you are shitting those chunks onto the wall behind it. A steel slug moving at Mach fucking 2. I'm imagining it's going to do something to this 10-ton piece of shit, right? And I mean, obviously, there's thing like, you'd have to take into account like any amount of ordnance would work, right? Like 20 millimeter, yeah, that's boof, right? I just farted. But like, yeah, like anything, just take that shit and throw it over somewhere else, right?
Wonderful sight on both land and in the sky. With a terrifying wingspan of 36 feet, this creature casts a large shadow on the ground below. If you see it, experts advise you to seek shelter in tight spaces such as under vehicles or inside narrow alleyways, as the Quetzalcoatlus prefers open areas for its hunting. The Quetzalcoatlus
I saw that. What was that?
is toothless, which means
Is this the wrath of Quetzalcoatlus punishing us?
the Quetzalcoatlus' beak is toothless, which means its prey is swallowed whole, leaving the unfortunate animal to slowly digest in its stomach. The Quetzalcoatlus preys on small to medium-sized animals, including sheep, small deer, and pets. Although it is unlikely to target larger animals or adult humans, it uses its sharp beak to peck at perceived threats, which could potentially be fatal to humans. A recent tragedy struck.
I'd imagine that'd produce a lot of force because of the length of the neck and then also the focus of the beak, right? Like something standing that tall, going back and going, right? That could just pierce you, I'd imagine, or at least you know penetrate skin, like each time, kind of like being stabbed.
When a mother witnessed her son be snatched by a Quetzalcoatlus on his way out from school. The child has since been presumed dead. This heartbreaking event has put many parents in fear and disarray. Multiple school districts have since been shut down as emergency safety protocols are being implemented. Furthermore, the Quetzalcoatlus has also been attacking livestock, leaving Texan farmers in crisis. In Lubbock, a farmer attempted to scare the creature away by using his farm dog. Tragically, the dog became prey instead. These tragedies
A farmer in Texas doesn't use a fucking gun to scare off a giant prehistoric animal.
In response to this prehistoric threat.
The beloved woolly mammoth, who has been a star attraction at the Toronto Zoo for over a month, has tragically fallen ill with tuberculosis. Despite the best efforts of veterinarians, Ubi has sadly passed away. On a brighter note, the zoo's caretakers have been looking after Ubi Jr. While he is still adjusting to the loss of his father, Ubi Jr. is eager to meet visitors soon. Stay tuned for
One thing that I always
exhibit.
found really interesting is that apparently, I'll put it up on screen here, woolly mammoths actually weren't that big, like comparatively to modern elephants. I think that's really interesting.
In future appearances.
Attention residents of Australia. Several nightmarish creatures now terrorize the continent. The massive lizard known as the megalania has proven itself to be a lethal threat since its emergence. A sharp decline in kangaroo populations has been observed due to the megalania's predation. Kangaroos are crucial to maintaining Australia's environment, as their grazing prevents the overgrowth of vegetation and their droppings aid in seed dispersal. Without them, the health of the entire ecosystem.
I do like that, how it's paying attention to biological ecosystems and like how this shit actually works. Now, biology and ecosystems are not like my forte when it comes to science, but I do understand it. As when I was in high school, I did take what was it, AP biology or whatever. So that is a piece of knowledge that is still in my brain in a little nook.
Is at serious risk. In response to the crisis, GPAC has initiated a hunting incentive for the megalania. A bounty of $2,000 is being offered for successfully taking down one of these creatures. However, we at Asian News strongly advise against this, as a newly emerged predator has made the hunting grounds far more dangerous. Meet Australia's newest nightmare, the Thylacoleo. Known as the marsupial lion, this predator measures around 5 feet in length and weighs over 200
I've never heard of this
pounds. Despite its size, it is capable of bringing down animals much larger in size than itself. With a bite force equal to a modern-day lion, the Thylacoleo will easily disrupt the ecosystems. Unlike most predators, it does not rely on its canines. Instead, its front incisors are its primary weapons. Its bladed premolars are perfectly designed to shear through flesh and bone. Furthermore, this marsupial is an ambush predator that utilizes stealth against its unaware prey.
A marsupial predator. Interesting. I never knew about this one. A fucking koala predator.
Surviving an encounter with a Thylacoleo is highly unlikely. However, to improve your chances, do not run, avoid sudden movements, and make loud noises to deter the predator. The emergence of the Thylacoleo has made megalania hunting even more dangerous. With its arrival, the kangaroo population...
I mean, just carry around a fucking 50 BMG. You know, the EDC of every Texan. Again, it's one of those things where, like, I would imagine a lot of modern firearms would probably, like, fuck a lot of these things up.
faces an even greater risk. Consider making a donation to GPAC to help expand their resources and capabilities in managing the ongoing crisis. In further news, the majestic Brachiosaurus...
You know, now there's an entire new, like, niche of, like, hiring, you know, PMCs and mercenaries. Instead of, you know, enforcing apartheid and other things like that, you just gotta go send them to kill some dinosaurs, right? You know, instead of contracting them for war crimes to be, you know, leave the countries that contracted them unresponsible directly for the crimes committed by them. Just go fucking kill dinosaurs.
Emerged, attracting visitors from around the world to witness this legendary creature.
That would
For
be
your
sick,
safety, avoid close proximity to the Titan, as its sheer size could result in accidental trampling. A safe distance of at least 1,500 feet is recommended. This dinosaur stands at approximately 40 feet tall and weighs 30 tons, equivalent to the mass of 4 African elephants. This reptile's neck alone stretches 30 feet in length. While many celebrate its return, environmentalists are raising concerns that the Brachiosaurus could have a detrimental impact on our environment.
I would imagine so. A lot of
The
overvegetation.
Southern Rocky Mountain Project focuses on carbon offset efforts to combat climate change. This is accomplished by restoring and protecting forests, which in turn will absorb greenhouse gases. Unfortunately, Brachiosaurus have wandered into these protected forests.
There is a possibility of them putting in a lot more nitrogen back into the ground through, shitting everywhere. But I would also imagine that because of how much they're eating, that wouldn't be, fucking thermodynamics and shit.
And with their herbivorous diet of 400 pounds a day, they are slowly consuming the very trees that the
It's about as much as your mom eats.
project has worked hard to restore. This has also sparked a heated debate. Some activists call for the removal or hunting
That looks like a penis.
of the Brachiosaurus to preserve the environment. However, others argue that the creature should not be punished for its natural behavior. GPAC has stated that for now, it will prioritize other matters and not intervene in the Brachiosaurus issue. Reports are now coming in of a massacre in Billings, Montana. An estimated 313 people have been mauled, with several others in critical condition. Please bear with us as we work to gather more details. This atrocity was led by none other than the Tyrant.
The tyrant punishes us.
Today, 19 Tyrannosaurus rexes were seen tearing through downtown Billings and its suburbs. Strangely,
19.
all of these Tyrannosaurus rexes attacked Billings around the same time. Although GPAC was quick to arrive at the scene to aid survivors, the T-Rexes vanished before authorities could track them. This dinosaur stands at 20 feet in height and stretches to 44 feet in length, making it a
Well, that's not exactly 20 feet. You would want it to be more upright to represent 20 feet because that's only about 12-ish feet. Actually, maybe... that's maybe about 18 feet, specifically if you stack two of those together.
terrifying sight. Its bite force exceeds
If it's
8,000
6 foot.
pounds per square inch, more than double than that of a crocodile. This theropod's front teeth are shaped for gripping and tearing, while the side teeth are stronger and thicker.
Binocular
perfect for
vision.
crunching down on bones. It is now speculated that these reptilian hunters work cooperatively. Where there's one T-Rex, another is likely lurking nearby. Even the waters are not safe from the tyrant Lizard King. With nothing on this earth to oppose it, the T-Rex has reclaimed its throne.
Oh, cool, Aztec, because, Quetzalcoatlus. But, again, I'm just saying, I don't think there's much that a T-Rex can do against a fucking 80-ton tank. I'm just saying. Like, I'm not going through the effort to reverse this.
Fear is spreading across the U.S. as the Tyrannosaurus Rex and the Quetzalcoatlus are migrating towards neighboring states. This has spurred many to purchase firearms in a desperate attempt to defend themselves against these prehistoric threats. Firearm sales have surged, leading to shortages and rising prices, making it difficult for mothers to obtain. The tragic death of 12-year-old Isaac Ramson at the hands of...
Maybe. I don't know if there would be a shortage, though. America produces a lot of fucking ammunition. A lot of ammunition and a lot of guns. I don't think people understand how many fucking guns are produced every year. Like...
The Quetzalcoatlus, combined with the Billings massacre, has radicalized some who now seek to rid the planet of these ancient creatures. We strongly advise against this thinking. Civilian firearms should only be used in self-defense, as these creatures are extremely difficult to kill. The best chance of survival is to fire at them to scare them away. Any close encounter with these animals is very dangerous.
Fucking just get like an AA-12 loaded up with steel slugs and just fucking boom, 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 boom.
Reports indicate that T-Rexes have survived headshots, sparking suspicions of supernatural origins. However, scientists at Asian News suggest that the resilience is due to the T-Rex's proportionately small brain, rendering the headshots less effective and making this dinosaur nearly unkillable. A particular T-Rex, distinct in its appearance, has captured public attention. It has been nicknamed the Deba, and its existence remains a mystery. The prehistoric creatures now haunt the ocean, the land, and the sky. Nowhere is safe.
Okay, that was really cool. We're going to watch the next episode here as well, but a few things that I want to mention is that it's really interesting to see that there is no supernatural cause so far. Like, the actual creatures themselves are not supernatural, but it's still presented in a very horrifying light. As for, again, firearms, firearms produce a lot of kinetic energy. I mean, well, depends. Technically, you know, a lot of rounds only produce the same amount of force as a punch. But it's the record amounts of punch, right? Like, you know, boxer amounts of punch, not like normal punches. Like, a punch from me would be the same amount of force as like a bullet, but not like, you know, just like a normal average person's punch. Maybe I'm giving myself too much credit there, but yeah, it's one of those things where it's because it's all focused into an area and because of the material it's made out of that then causes it to break apart, and then the sharpness cuts across you know, skin and tissue and so on, that it becomes so dangerous. So I really am curious as to how bullets, even stronger rounds, wouldn't do much to them. I would imagine things like flechette rounds wouldn't do much. Birdshot, no. Double-aught buckshot, I would imagine, would probably do something to it. Definitely wound it. And probably crack bone. But, like, going up, you know, slugs or even... I mean, Dragon Breath is a novelty round, so it's not like that. I'm sure some people out in the comments will be like, what about Dragon's Breath? But Dragon's Breath is more of a novelty round than anything. I mean, it's still a fucking bullet, you know. But, comparatively, I should say. But yeah, like, you know, 7.62, maybe, I don't know. I'm sure like a fucking steel core 762 will do some shit, right? To a T-Rex. I mean, you got 30 rounds and a mag coming out of a fucking like AK platform. It's probably gonna do something, right? I would imagine it's gonna do fucking something. Blue hole. Was that a squid? Is that a colossal squid? Oh yeah, uh-huh. Legs are a little shorter than I imagined they would be. With how big that fucking head is. A quarter of a kilometer down, huh? Almost. Almost a kilometer. Almost a quarter kilometer, I should say.
Welcome everyone to ASIN News. Our responsibility is to keep you updated on all developments concerning the prehistoric emergence. We acknowledge that our last broadcast left viewers unsettled. Notably, an unexpected video of a mysterious statue with strange sounds interrupted our channel. It appears ASIN
currently investigating hijacks. I wonder if there's going to be like some cults forming around them. But yeah, way to not only sensationalize shit, but also fearmonger fucking ASIN News.
was targeted by cyber attacks. The glitches and interruptions you witnessed are suspected to be a prank meant to instill fear. An investigation is already underway. Furthermore, GPAC has asked us to announce that they are actively mobilizing global military forces to effectively manage the prehistoric emergence. Until troops are fully prepared, please rely on local authorities for emergency assistance. In other news, some of Earth's very first apex predators have reappeared.
The first apex predator has resurfaced.
Anomalocaris!
Called the Anomalocaris. This arthropod is estimated to be around 2 feet in length, although it may not look imposing. Once ruled the Cambrian seas. While it was believed to prey on hard-shelled animals, we have now observed that the Anomalocaris feeds on softer-bodied creatures. Unlike most of the prehistoric creatures that have emerged, Anomalocaris has surprisingly positive effects on today's environment.
Consider shipworms. These invasive pests cause billions of dollars in damage each year. Shipworms burrow into wooden structures such as ship, piers, docks, and they consume the wood until these structures are destabilized.
I didn't think that shipworms were like an extinct thing. I always imagined that they were still around.
Their larvae hatch in the ocean and swim freely until they locate a source of wood. Then they burrow into the wood, growing and digesting more as they develop, ultimately weakening the structure.
Like termites, but for the ocean. You know, tuna is the chicken of the sea, but shipworms, the fucking termites of the ocean, dude.
Fortunately, the return of the Anomalocaris is keeping these shipworms in check.
Ah, that's okay. Okay, I get it.
This emergence is unexpectedly beneficial. Many welcome the Anomalocaris' presence in our oceans.
I'm an Anomalocaris. I try.
The Kraken of the Ordovician period has reemerged. It is known as the Cameroceras. This ancient cephalopod's shell is around 20 feet in length. Its shell serves to protect the creature and maintain its buoyancy. While it isn't inherently aggressive,
big ass shell.
Cameroceras will attack humans if threatened. It inhabits the equatorial oceans and is particularly abundant in shallow tropical seas. The Cameroceras can use its beak to breach exoskeletons or shells.
I think I
Just
had a
like the
toy of that when I was
Anomalocaris,
younger.
This creature's predation patterns have been helpful to us.
Ironic, isn't it? You know, like having toys made out of plastic that's made from oil that comes from the biodegraded fucking flesh of dinosaurs.
Take, for instance, the green crab. These invasive crustaceans impair our economy and our ecosystems. Green crabs decimate populations of clams, oysters, and mussels, causing severe damage to marine ecosystems and causing fisheries millions annually. The Cameroceras, however, prey on these invaders, helping to control their numbers. By reducing green crab populations, the Cameroceras indirectly keeps shellfish stocks abundant and reduces economic losses in the fishing industry. The Cameroceras and the Anomalocaris.
Hell yeah, Kraken, you fucking capitalist. Oh, fuck you.
Prove that some prehistoric creatures may work in our favor.
I am glad that it is touching on that, though, right? Again, with the wild hog analogy that I said fucking 40 minutes ago, that it would be interesting to see something like, because in places like Utah, that there is a lot of hogs. So I wonder if, Utah Raptor shows up and starts handling shit, dog.
And should be protected at all costs. While these animals were the apex predators of their time, they are far from dominating these oceans.
Megalodon and Dunkleosteus, I'd imagine,
Recently,
too.
Thai fishermen caught a group of wild Anomalocaris. The creature immediately became a sensation in Thai restaurants.
Huh,
Now,
interesting.
we're witnessing a spike in demand for exotic prehistoric seafood.
That's cool.
Many
That's
fishermen
cool.
have expressed interest in capturing.
Because I would imagine that, we're humans, right? We are the apex of the entire place. Like, we see fucking, what? Anomalocaris, shit, fucking fry it up, deep fry it, right? Serve it as shrimp, right?
These creatures. This could be an issue for we have seen.
Yes. Scary.
This could be an issue for we may undo the positive effects these animals had on the ocean by overfishing them. Activists are starting boycott campaigns on restaurants that are planning on serving Anomalocaris tempura and Cameroceras calamari. GPAC has ignored this issue entirely, most likely due to their focus on military organization, meaning we will have to rely on the good nature of humans to save these creatures.
Because that's
Pray for the
notoriously
safety
good.
of the Anomalocaris and the Cameroceras.
Interesting. Very interesting. Now, that is cool. I do enjoy that. That it's actually touching on, like, how humans would interact with them. Instead of just showing them primarily as monsters, you are either actually going into how these would affect ecosystems, they would affect things like economy, they would affect culinary things and the like. And it's also really interesting that, wow, a government organization or government-affiliated organization only primarily focuses on nothing but military organization. But that is really cool. Wow, season 1 was great. I did like that. It's been a while since I watched the first 2 episodes, and I haven't rewatched them. But, I kind of remember what was going on. So, yeah. Thank you all so much for watching. Zoom on in. If you enjoyed, leave a like down below. And while you're down there, you can support me through memberships and super chats and my Patreon, as well as a Cash App as well. And if you want to hear your name at the end of every video like you're about to hear, then those are the ways to do it. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe if you wish to do so, and hit the bell to be notified of every single time that I post in the future. Big things are always happening, and things are still to come. Bye-bye. Thank you to my patrons and members, Sleepy Sheepy, Lola Barzal, Nappy, and Finch R. If you wish to see your name and hear it at the end of every video, you can do so by becoming a member of the channel or through my Patreon down below. But then again, you've already heard the ending and outro of the video. Thank you.